Hi guys, it's Cameron from the Mighty Blues. Welcome back today to another live stream. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reviewing Everton's 2-0 victory against Bournemouth at Goodison Park yesterday. And what for me was an absolutely massive victory for Marco Silva's boys. Listen, it wasn't by any means perfect, certainly not in the first half. I thought we had a really poor first half, but the boys picked it up in the second half and went out there and got the all-important 3 points, and that's what we needed yesterday. We needed a win, and we needed a big performance by Everton, and I think in that second half, we were absolutely fantastic. It was the type of performance that we haven't seen a lot from in the last few weeks and months, you know, a type of performance that you look at and you think, you know, we're riled up for this, we're well up for this. The boys come out in the second half and they were aggressive, we were getting at Bournemouth and we were playing some really nice football, and in the end that's what got us the win. Well, of course we'll talk about the game in today's live stream. Let me just tweet out this team. Got a lot to talk about today as well. There was a lot of talking points yesterday. Referee Anthony Taylor being one of them, Ademola Lookman's performance being another one. A lot to talk about. Just tweeted the team out there, so hopefully everybody over on Twitter can come and watch us. John says, everyone smash a like and sub for Cam, guys. Thank you very much, John. That's a really good point. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. Just at 230 subscribers, so only 20 away from 250. So if you haven't already, please do leave a subscription and like the video as well. Like the stream if you have enjoyed all of the content so far and if you are enjoying it. So thank you very much for that. But anyway, I suppose we'll jump straight into the game. If you see my instant match reaction yesterday, you'll have seen that I lost my voice a little bit. Still, I'm a little bit ill, I'd say, to be honest, off the back of that game. I've still got a sore throat, I've still lost my voice a little bit, and I'm starting to get headaches as well because of it. And look, that's when you know it's been a fantastic performance at Goodison. That's when you know you've enjoyed yourself, when you come home with a sore throat and when you come home with, you know, a little bit of an issue in your vocal cords, I should say. Listen, I've had games at Goodison Park where I've lost my voice because I've been singing, I've been screaming, I've been loving the football. You know, a Manchester City game when we beat Manchester City 4-1 at Goodison a couple of years back. That was one of them examples. Yesterday, it wasn't quite like that, to be honest. Listen, we'll talk about the atmosphere later on in the stream. It wasn't amazing, but it was significantly better than it has been in recent weeks. But the reason I lost my voice yesterday was because of referee Anthony Taylor. Your boy says, how is Anthony Taylor a referee? Sorry, yeah, exactly. Like I said, we'll talk about that in just a minute. But that is the reason I lost my voice. The amount of times I was up screaming and shouting at that man for being such an incompetent, absolute idiot of a man and being so biased and clearly having an agenda against Everton and wanting Bournemouth to get something out of that game meant that I ended up leaving the game with a sore throat. So do bear with me in the stream just a second. If you see me taking a drink, if you see me coughing, if you see me stopping a little bit, it's because I have got a little bit of a sore throat after yesterday's game. But anyway, none of that. We'll go on to talk about the game, of course. Like I mentioned there, the first half we weren't fantastic at all. I think we were really slow, really lackadaisical. We didn't come out playing good football at all, and I think we give Bournemouth a little bit too much respect. If I'm being honest with you, we allowed them to, you know, control the game. We allowed them to win the headers in defence, and we allowed them to just play on us and say to them, you know what, you have the ball and let's see what you can do. And it was looking like one of them games again in the first half where you're thinking, something's going to happen here, these are going to nick a goal, or, you know, a mistake's going to be made and our heads are just going to drop, and it's going to be another one of them games where we're walking out of Goodison having lost a game of football because we haven't really turned up. They had a couple of good opportunities, obviously hitting the post in the first half. It's a good effort, isn't it? But it ends up hitting the post. They had a couple of good opportunities where they got behind us, but they just couldn't convert. And again, you were sitting there thinking, is this going to be another one of those games? Are we literally going to see another performance like this from Everton? David Brooks, I think it was, who hit the post. Absolutely fantastic young player. What a player he was. What a performance by him yesterday. But again, it was one of them performances where you're thinking in the first half, it's not going to cut it, not going to cut it against a team like Bournemouth, very close to us in the league, playing, you know, okay at the minute. They're always scoring goals, but they're always conceding as well. And I think we went in at half-time and there was definitely something said by Marco Silva. I put it as my key moment up there. I've put the half-time team talk because I think, for me, Marco Silva got them in, and, you know, I said that in my instant match reaction yesterday, he gave them a little bit of a kick up the arse. I don't know whether he did. He doesn't strike me to the type of manager to go in and scream at players, but he definitely said something, because I pointed this out yesterday when I was in the game, you know. I was focusing a lot on certain players in yesterday's game just because I was wanting to see how they perform. Gylfi Sigurdsson was one of them. Now for me, that first 45 minutes, from minute 1 to minute 45, was one of the worst 45 minutes I've seen Gylfi Sigurdsson playing in Everton shirt. I thought he absolutely stunk the place out. He couldn't get his foot on the ball. He couldn't pass the ball further than 5 yards. Yes, he did go down in 20 minutes in and sort of get a little bit of an injury, but he got back up and he carried on, and he didn't look like he was playing through anything. He just looked like he was having a really, really poor game. Again, goes in half time and you're sitting thinking, are we going to get another another performance in the second half similar to that one? Because if so, we're going to struggle here to get anything out of this game. But he come out the second half, him as well as a lot of other players, and from minute 45 to the final whistle, it was probably one of the best 45 minutes I've seen Gylfi Sigurdsson play this season. He was playing like he did against Leicester away from home earlier in the season, like he did against Brighton at home, like he did against Fulham at home. He was pushing constantly, he was pressing high up the pitch, and he was using his pace to run and tire players out. Every time he got the ball, he was using it well. He was spraying some nice passes to to Bernard and to Ademola Lookman as well, and the change in performance from him from the first half to the second half was absolutely unbelievable. And it was quite clear that Marco Silva took them in at half time and said, listen lads, this isn't good enough. This is going to be embarrassing. If we go out and perform like this again, this is going to be embarrassing because we're not going to get anything out of this game, and it's going to be another performance at home where the fans aren't happy because we haven't managed to get anything out of it. Like we mentioned there, first home win since November, where I believe we beat Cardiff in November. That was the first win at Goodison Park in the Premier League. Since then, obviously, we beat Lincoln last week, but in the Premier League, that was our first win since November, and that isn't good enough. When you look at the teams we've played Newcastle, Leicester, Watford, and we haven't won any of those games, so we badly needed a win yesterday. Obviously, Bournemouth quite close to us in the table as well, so there was a lot riding on yesterday. There was a lot riding on it. I think for me, the most important, factor, the most important reason that we got the win, the most important thing we needed out of the game was to keep the momentum going. Keep the momentum going from the Lincoln victory. Look, it wasn't an easy game against Lincoln. Again, it was gritty. Again, it was tough, but we got the win in the end, and we needed to take that momentum into yesterday. And we needed to carry that on, and we need to carry that on further. We've got Southampton now next week, and then we've got Millwall in the cup, and we need to carry on this win and run of form, because look, I've said it time and time again, if you don't shoot, if you don't create chances, you don't win football matches, and that's been, a big issue for Everton this season, is we haven't created enough, we haven't done enough. But in the past couple of weeks, the confidence has just seemed rock bottom. It really, really has seemed rock bottom, and I think, for me, we needed a massive, massive confidence boost, and a lot of people will have looked at the Lincoln game and gone, okay, can this be our confidence boost? Can the lads go out now and put in a good run of form and get some nice victories? And other people have looked at it and gone, it's Lincoln at home, but we should be beating them, what's going to change? But I think yesterday, for me, that was the game, that was the changer. And again, it was such a mad contrast from the first half to the second half, where we come out in the first half and we were absolutely atrocious. For me, we were really, really poor, couldn't string a pass together, didn't create anything really relatively going forward. I know Richarlison had a little bit of an opportunity that was cleared off the line, but didn't really create anything going forward. And then, in defence, we looked a little bit shaky at times. The second half, we were in control and we looked much the better team. And I think from 60, 70 minutes onwards, you could tell it was only going to be one team winning that game, and that was Everton. Like I said, performances from Gylfi Sigurdsson, Idrissa Gana Gueye, they really, really improved in the second half, and they needed to, because I think Marco Silva got them in and said, look, you cannot play like this. This is absolutely atrocious. You need to pick yourselves back up and you need to go again. And he might have given them a little bit of a hard truth, because I haven't seen Gylfi Sigurdsson come out and play like that since the Leicester game probably, or since the Brighton game at home. So it was really important to see him have a go and run at players and just, chase players down, and when he's winning the ball, using it properly and, having a little look around and seeing where the next forward pass is, rather than just hitting it into nowhere and hoping that someone gets on the end of it. I want to talk about Ademola Lookman, obviously, as well. We'll speak about him in just a second. I'm just going to get onto the live comments. John says Anthony Taylor should be a referee in the Nations League, and Anthony Taylor is the worst referee in the Premier League. He's absolutely atrocious. You know what? I think refereeing standard in this league, they go as following. For me, you've got absolutely awful referees in terms of your Lee Masons, who are just really, really poor and don't know how to do the job. And that works both ways. Lee Mason, will have a decision that'll go against Everton, and he'll have a decision that'll go for Everton, because he's just a poor referee. So, you might get lucky with Lee Mason one day and he might give a pen. That's not a pen. You might get unlucky and he might give, a pen against you. That's not a pen. And then there's the referees that are just blatantly, awfully biased and don't try and hide it, like Anthony Taylor. I think for me, listen, you might think I'm deluded that you might think I'm being silly here, but for me, there's no way anybody can convince me otherwise than that Anthony Taylor was trying to give Bournemouth anything out of that game yesterday. And, you know, that might be a little bit rash and it might be a little bit harsh to see, but anybody that watched the game afterwards, the only way you can have seen that is if you went to Goodison Park yesterday or you watched it live on Sky Sports, because I watched the game again on BBC Match of the Day yesterday, and to be honest with you, they cut everything out. They cut every single decision he made out. All that they showed was the 2 penalty appeals, which neither were penalties for me. We'll talk about them in just a minute as well. And the 2 goals, obviously, which they had to show. They cut every single poor Anthony Taylor decision out, and that's clearly because they don't want to expose him for what he is. But for me, yesterday, he was absolutely atrocious and just showed that he clearly got a clear bias against Everton. But anyway, we'll go on to talk about Ademola Lookman. Let's not bring the negatives in. We all know Anthony Taylor's a shocking referee and he's a gobshite, so let's bring the positives in. There was a lot of positives to take from yesterday's win, Ademola Lookman being one of them. Terry says Lookman needs a run now. Yeah, 100%. Listen, for me, Ademola Lookman was absolutely fantastic yesterday. He was 100%. Definitely one of the best players on the pitch. I've put him as the key player. I know he got man of the match. I think Kurt Zouma had a very, very good game as well. I think Michael Keane had a good game as well, other than a couple of little patches where he made a few stupid mistakes. But for me, Ademola Lookman stepped in perfectly yesterday. He come in, obviously, in replace of Theo Walcott, who hasn't had the easiest couple of months in an Everton shirt. You know, a lot of people saying he's not good enough, a lot of people saying he shouldn't really be anywhere near the starting 11. I don't know whether I agree with that, or I think for me personally he's just in a little bit of a bad run of form, but there was absolutely no doubt in my mind that Ademola Lookman should have come into that team yesterday, and he did, and he was absolutely fantastic. Taking out the fact that he set up the second goal for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, which by the way was an absolutely fantastic assist. There's so much class in that, and it's just so much, it's so clever for a player in the 90th minute to think, I'm not just going to run it into the corner here, I'm going to stand on it, I'm going to wait for Calvert-Lewin or whoever it may be to come into my peripheral vision, and I'm going to play a nice cute pass right on the plate for an easy finish, and that's what he done. But for me, taking away that, like I said, the rest of the game, I thought Ademola Lookman was absolutely fantastic. I think just his overall play, he wasn't afraid to take shots, he wasn't afraid to take players on him, and overall he wasn't afraid to make mistakes, and he did. There was a couple of opportunities where he lost the ball or he caught himself in possession trying to be a little bit clever, but he picked himself back up and he went again and he tried to win the ball back, and he was putting challenges in, and he wasn't afraid. He didn't make one mistake and then go, oh, I'm not going to try that again, I'm not going to try and take a player on again in case that happens again. He made the mistake, he got the ball, and he said, right, we go again and we try and take it on again. There was a couple of opportunities where he played really, really fantastic football, and he managed to take the opposition on, and he managed to get through the Bournemouth defence. For me, he's the type of player that you need to be including in your squad for the next 5 or 10 games at least. Like Terry says, Lookman deserves a run, definitely 100%. I think yesterday he was voted man of the match, but I think Marco Silva will have been really, really impressed with his performance overall. It was a very mature performance, and it was a very, it was a performance that you look at and you go, you know what, you've grew up an awful lot since, the last time we've probably seen you play for Everton, because when he was playing previously, last season, the season before he went on loan, he was very much, very selfish, very much to himself. I'm just going to run, I'm just going to look for an opportunity for me to try and score, whereas now he's looking for passes, he's playing nice balls, he's playing other players into the game and into possession, and I think yesterday he done that really, really well. And, also he's not afraid to cut inside and take a shot, and he's not afraid to, look for other players as well. A lot of players that had taken that ball into the corner flag in the last minute and just said, right, I'm just going to see it out, but he didn't. He took it that way and he thought, actually, you know what, I can cut this through to Dominic Calvert-Lewin and I can, assist the goal, and he did, and it was an absolutely fantastic assist. And take nothing away from Dom as well, an absolutely wonderful finish from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Not the easiest finish by any means, but for me yesterday, Ademola Lookman was absolutely quality, and I think he definitely deserves a run of games now. I don't think there's a question about it. I really don't think there's a question. Look, I really like Theo Walcott, and I don't want to sit here and say he's done and he's not got a place in the Everton team, because I think that would be a little bit harsh. But certainly for the next 5 or 10 games, I think it should be Ademola Lookman that has his run, because he deserves it. Dominic Calvert-Lewin got a run, John Joe Kenny got a little bit of a run here and there, but I think if one young player deserves to be in this squad more than any, I think it probably is Ademola Lookman, because he's got his head down, he's worked hard, he's waiting for his opportunity, and he took his opportunity yesterday. He got a goal against Lincoln in the FA Cup, and he got a fantastic assist yesterday, and overall he played really, really well. And I think one thing I noticed from the game yesterday, and I think would have instilled a lot of confidence into Ademola Lookman, was the substitution, the decision to take Bernard off and bring bring Dominic Calvert-Lewin on, I think it was. I think as soon as you seen Calvert-Lewin, or Theo Walcott, sorry, as soon as you seen Theo Walcott warming up on that sideline, I think Adam Lookman probably thought, right, that's it for me. I'm done now. I haven't scored, I haven't assisted, so I'm getting taken off. And I think that would have put a lot of confidence into his game, seeing that Bernard on the other side got brought off and he was allowed the full 90 minutes to showcase his talent and showcase what he'd done. And I think that would have done him wonders as well. Don't get me wrong, I thought Bernard played really, really well as well. Again, very, very similar performances from Bernard week in, week out. He's a very, very good footballer. He's class, and he's got the eye to play it in, and he creatively, he's probably our best player going forward. And I think, he's vital to our team. And, again, yesterday he played really, really well. He didn't create anything directly. He didn't get involved as much as maybe he has in recent weeks, but I think he played well overall. And again, that forward line yesterday in the second half really come to life. Richarlison, yes, he was a little bit frustrating not jumping for headers, but in that second half he was playing the central defenders how he should have been doing. He was winning fouls and he was putting his body in the way. There was a little cheeky elbow from him at one point, which I thought if the referee seen, he was probably lucky to not get carded for. But I think he played really, really well at being that annoying centre forward that does the dirty work yesterday. Listen, you're not always going to get a 10 out of 10 Richarlison performance. He's very, very young. He's very new to this league. Even playing for Watford last season, he's still very, very new to this league. So you are going to have to be patient with Richarlison. And there's a couple of games where you look and you think you're really frustrating, throwing yourself on the floor, trying to win fouls. But I think yesterday he played his role well, and he allowed the likes of Bernard and Adam Lookman to do the nice intricate bits. And obviously, they come away with a victory, and we ended up scoring 2 goals, 2 absolutely fantastic goals as well, which we'll go into speak about in a little bit more detail just in a second. Robbie says, I wouldn't let Taylor ref a netball game at a blind school, corrupt as anything. I 100% agree. He's an absolute joke. Where am I up to here? John says, you're only 2 points off 7th, so you hope City does Everton a favour tonight. Exactly, and that's what one win in the Premier League does for you. One win. We beat Bournemouth yesterday, and now we're 2 points off second. If Wolves get beat tonight by City, then all of a sudden we're in pole position. If we go out and beat Southampton next week at St Mary's, and results go our favour in the other games, then we're bang in there again. We're 7th. Top 6 for me is going to really be a struggle this season. You've seen how Manchester United are playing under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You've seen how well they've transitioned since the Mourinho departure. Obviously, the likes of Spurs, Chelsea and all them, they're a league above, I'd still say, at the minute. So it's going to be really, really difficult to finish in that top 6. But if Everton can finish 7th this season and have a really, really strong FA Cup run, and maybe even get to Wembley, and maybe, who knows, dare to say, even win the FA Cup, then that's a fantastic season for me. And if not, if we don't manage to do anything, major in the FA Cup, if we do get knocked out in the next round or in a couple of rounds after, but we finish 7th in the league, that's a massive achievement for me. Because listen, the top 6 for me are another step above, and they're a step above that Marco Silva's going to need time to get to, and he's going to need a lot of investment. And he's definitely going to need a striker. He's probably going to need a right back and a couple of other players as well. But if we get 7th this season, for me, that's a really, really good season, and I think it's a positive season that people can look at and say, okay, you know what, there's room to build, yeah, but we've started at a good enough point. Terry also says, needed that clean sheet too. Yeah, 100%. If you see my instant match reaction yesterday, you've seen I was boggled by the fact that we got a clean sheet, but definitely Jordan Pickford needed that for his confidence. I thought Jordan Pickford was fantastic yesterday. He was coming out, he was commanding his box, he was in the referee's face, he was making players know that he was around and that he was the leader in that area. Something that a lot of fans have been critical of him for this season. A lot of fans have been critical of Jordan not commanding his box and not coming out and not shouting instructions, but I think he done that fantastically well yesterday. And he made a couple of saves as well where he had to be proactive, he had to come out, and he had to, make a split decision, and he done it really, really well as well. So that's another point I wanted to mention. I thought Jordan Pickford was fantastic. Jonathan says, glad we won Southampton, must-win game, 100% agree with you on that one. We read that one. Teddy says, match of the day is CAC. Yeah, 100%, absolute woeful programme, and that Jermaine Genius shouldn't be commentating on Everton again, because he doesn't know what he's talking about, if I'm being completely honest with you. He's just like, he's an ex-footballer, yeah, but did he win anything in his career? I think his little, when he have the little bar that comes up and Paul Scholes says won 15 Premier Leagues with Man United, and Ian Wright says scored however many goals for Arsenal. I think Jermaine Genius has just said played a few times for Spurs. That's about it. What gives him the right to sit there and commentate on Everton Football Club and sit there and lay into the fact that the Bournemouth players should have done more to surround the referee to try and win a penalty. Get lost, lad. See you later. Teddy says, lovely cutback. I assume you're talking about the Ademola Lookman one for the Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Absolutely fantastic cutback. Yeah, Jonathan says, I have a sore throat. Haha. Yeah, me too, mate. Me too. Robbie says, if we had someone attack the front and back post when Lookman was trying to cross it, we would have put a few past him. Exactly, and I think that's a really, really good point. Lookman put a couple of quality balls into the box yesterday, and there just wasn't anybody there to convert them. I think there was one specifically in the first half in the Park End where I was sitting, and he put a really, really nice cutthroat pass into the box, and there was just nobody there. Richarlison wasn't on his toes. He wasn't in the 6-yard box, you know. Bernard on the other side wasn't anywhere near enough, and I think that's the point that, you know, we're making when we say we really need a centre forward, because if we had a natural number 9 in there that can just sit in and around that 6-yard box, you're absolutely right. Them balls that, you know, Ademola Lookman was throwing into the box, likewise on the other side when Luca Dean and Bernard are putting balls into the box, when that happens, there needs to be a centre forward to be on the end of him, and hopefully, you know, if not in January this month, the start of next season, hopefully we've got a centre forward that can just sit in and around that area and that can put the ball in the back of the net from them opportunities, because there was a lot of crosses into the box yesterday, or there was at least a couple of really, really good crosses from Ademola Lookman that you look at and you think, oh, if only there was someone in the box there to be on the end of that, it would have been a certain goal. Please like the video if you have enjoyed so far. If you haven't already, please do subscribe as well. We're nearly at 250 subscribers, which is absolutely massive, so thank you all for all of the support. Like the stream if you have enjoyed as well. Terry says, we've got a Peter Reid and Andre Gomez, Bruiser, Andy Ray. Exactly, 100%. What a fantastic comment that is. We have, and if we can sign Andre Gomez, then that'll be unbelievable. But you're absolutely right. We need our Andy Ray. We need our number 9. Could have been Lukaku. It could have, I think. I've seen a lot on Twitter recently, and I wanted to bring it up. I didn't really necessarily want to bring it up in this video, but I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying, you know, oh, we sold Lukaku out, you know, well, how stupid were we to just push him out the door because he wanted a little bit more money or this. I think a lot of Everton fans start to get confused with the Lukaku situation. Listen, okay, we mightn't have done the most to make him stay at the club. We mightn't have convinced him, you know, brilliantly to stay, but don't get it twisted. Lukaku wanted to leave Everton. He was on holiday with Paul Pogba. Let's not turn around and say we pushed him out the door. We didn't. He literally walked out the door himself, got in his car, drove away, and all we done was shut the door behind him. Because you have to move on when a player wants to move on. It's not working for him at United now. Would you take him back? It's an interesting comment. Let me know in the live comments. Would you take Lukaku back? For me, I wouldn't. And I know that's going to sound a bit crazy. I know we need a striker. And prime Lukaku playing for Everton would have been a perfect player in this squad and in this you know, in this setup that Marco Silva plays, but I just wouldn't take him back for his attitude and the fact that he's nowhere near the player that he was when we had him. Now, Teddy says, yep, Bernardo's free is 200%. John says, we're only 7 points behind Spurs and it's Chelsea versus Arsenal next weekend too. Exactly, it's scarily close. It's scarily close, you know, how close the league is this season. And if we get a couple of good results going our way and we still manage to beat Millwall and we still manage to go far in the FA Cup, who knows what can happen. I'm not getting too excited because we done that when we went on the good run of form in October and September. I'm not going to get too excited because this season is going to be a very much up and down season. We're going to get results like the Bournemouth one. Equally, we're going to get results like the Leicester one where it doesn't quite go in our favour. So I'm not getting too overly excited, but you know, it's very, very close, and a couple of good wins for us and a couple of bad defeats for the likes of United or even, dare I say, Spurs. Definitely the likes of Wolves and Bournemouth will see us, you know, climb the table quite drastically, and that's definitely something to be excited about. But let's not, you know, build our hopes up because anything can happen. Of course, Jonathan says we needed that win. We need someone like Mariga from Porto, strong centre forward. Yeah, we definitely do need a strong centre forward. That John says David Wagner just left Huddersfield. Breaking news just there. Oh really? I haven't seen that. That is quite massive news, to be honest, although they do look really, really poor this season. Teddy says lol at Gina's comments, and exactly once Lukaku wants to leave. Exactly, Lukaku, he wanted to leave, he wants to join Man United, he wants to join his best mate Paul Pogba, and that's fair enough. Would you have him back? I suppose that's one of them where some people think yeah, some people think no, but I don't. For me, no, because of his attitude for one, and the fact that he's not the player he was for two. But let me know your thoughts in the live comments. If you're watching this as a video afterwards, leave me your thoughts in the comment section. I'll be watching, I'll be reading through the comments all night, and I'll be commenting back and getting involved with you guys. So I suppose we'll go on now to talk about the rest of the game. The second half for me, like I mentioned briefly there, the first half we were poor. It looked like another one of them first halves, again like the game against Leicester, where we just looked lazy, we looked void of confidence, and we just didn't look like we wanted to get anything out of the game. We went into the second half, obviously, half-time team talk, I had my sausage roll, I was watching someone try and hit the ball at the bar, I was in the rain, I was on my phone, and then Marco Silva, all at that time, while I had my sausage roll halfway down my throat. Oof, that might get clipped. I've just realised what I've said there halfway through saying it. Jesus Christ. Oh, you know what? I literally meant a sausage roll. But anyway, while I was eating my sausage roll, should we say, Marco Silva was obviously given the best team talk that he's probably given all season for me. The second half was such a contrast and change to the first half. I think it was absolutely unbelievable. Like I mentioned there, Gylfi Sigurdsson come out and he was absolutely fantastic. Idrissa Gana Gueye come out and all of a sudden he looked like he could pass the ball. He looked like he grew into the game a lot more. Ademola Lookman only got better. Bernard looked a lot more creative. Luca Dean looked fantastic. Michael Keane as well took the stupid mistakes out of his game and just done Route 1. Kurt Zouma again. Everybody for me on the pitch in that second half took their role and took their responsibility and ran with it. Like I mentioned there, Jordan Pickford, absolutely fantastic from him in that second half. What a footballer we have. I know he makes his mistakes, and I know some people say, you know, okay, he might be a little bit naive at times. Is he good enough? For me, that second half, he commanded his box brilliantly, and he done it at a point where, you know, he really needed to. We needed a big performance from Jordan Pickford because we needed him to be commanding and to, you know, shout at the centre half and to shout at the defence to do their job. And he did, and I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, the first goal coming from a big Kurt Zouma header. A ball comes in. It's a little bit too long. I made up that Luca Dean doesn't hit it first time because originally when I come out to him, I thought, you know, he's going to hit this first time and it's going to go into Rose's of the Gladys. He doesn't. He's very, very composed. He takes it down the wing. He puts a really, really nice cross in, an absolutely fantastic cross considering he was touch tight to his man. And Kurt Zouma with an absolutely wonderful bullet header right into the top of the left-hand corner, and the Gladys go absolutely mad. Kurt Zouma goes absolutely mad, and it's 1-0 to Everton, and all of a sudden you're thinking, this is what we needed. This is the moment in this game that we needed to change it. This is the moment that's going to boost our confidence to a new level. We've been the better team in the second half, and we've now got the goal, and we can now push on and hopefully get the 3 points. Kurt Zouma celebrating like an absolute madman in front of the Gladys, running, giving Marco Silva a massive hug as well. Hopefully that has something to do with him joining on a permanent transfer at the end of the season. But then he gave a little cheeky point to Duncan Ferguson to say, you know, you taught me that. Basically, it was an absolute wonderful header, and I suppose there's nobody better to point at in terms of scoring headed goals in front of the Gladys seat than Duncan Ferguson. What an absolutely bullet header by Kurt Zouma. And after that point, I think we looked good, we looked strong, and we looked safe, and I think we knew overall that we were going to win that game. Yes, Bournemouth come. And they did come. They had another couple of decent chances as well. They had a little bit of the ball, and they knew that they needed to be on the attack, and they knew that they needed to threaten us because at that point in the game we were better in the second half, and we were 1-0 up at the end of the day, and our confidence was probably at a level that it hasn't been for a long time. Obviously, we've seen it out for the rest of the game. They had a couple of opportunities here and there, a couple of shouts for penalties as well. I suppose what better way than to go on to talk about them now. First one for me, so there's two main shouts if you haven't seen it. There's an Idrissa Gana Gueye shout where David Brooks, I think there's a little bit of goings on between them both, and David Brooks ends up going over, and Anthony Taylor waves it away. Right decision for once, never thought I'd say that. Another one is Andre Gomez in the other half, in the second half, where he pulls. Does he pull? No, he puts his hand on the neck of, I can't remember who it was, but he puts his hand on the neck or the back of the head of a Bournemouth player, and he just falls to the floor. For me, listen, let's just clear it up. The first one is never a penalty. Never a penalty at all. They both had it in the box, and Brooks has got a hold of Idrissa Gana Gueye's shirt, so it's as much as a foul to Everton as it is to anything to Bournemouth. I think for me, if it would have been given, it would have to been a foul for Everton, because Gana Gueye had the shirt ripped off him. And, he was the one that managed to stay up. Brooks just fell over and started to claim for a penalty. Never a penalty for me. The second one, The second one is one of them where you think if Anthony Taylor sees that, he gives it. To be honest, I think it's soft by Andre Gomes in terms of he shouldn't be putting his hand on another player's head in the penalty area, because he should know better, and he should know that whenever a player feels any sort of contact in the area, they go down. So I think it's very, very soft by Andre Gomes. It's not a penalty at all, because he doesn't rag him, he doesn't pull him down, he literally just puts his hand on the back of his head. But it's the way he comes round and does it that maybe, you know, makes the referee make a different decision if he actually sees the challenge. I personally don't think it was a penalty. Let me know your thoughts in the live comments or in the comments of the video if you're watching this as a video afterwards. For me, there wasn't enough in it for it to be a penalty, but I've definitely seen them given, and I don't have any doubt in my mind that if Anthony Taylor would have seen that, he would have given it, because he will have just seen Andre Gomes put his hand on another player's head, that player hit the floor, and he'd have just automatically waved. For me, neither of them were penalties. I don't think either of them were strong enough challenges to warrant a penalty, but like I said, we might have got away with one with the Andre Gomes challenge. 2 messages retracted there, I'm not too sure what they said. Robbie said, not sure he'd come after Mosh, said his mouth was into do. I don't know what's going on there. I'm going to leave that one. Jonathan says, we play Huddersfield soon. We do. That's another must-win game. Natty said, I'm glad Lookman did well with Southgate watching. It's good Pickford and the rest of the team gained in confidence as the game went on. We still need to improve at set pieces in our goal. Of 100%. I was, obviously, Gareth Southgate come on the big screen at Goodison Park, and I was thinking, this is a massive opportunity now for your Michael Keanes, for your Jordan Pickfords, for your Ademola Lookmans to show that man and say, listen, I'm good enough to be in this England team week in, week out. I thought Ademola Lookman done himself massive amount of favours yesterday. Whether Gareth Southgate includes him in the next international squad, I'm not too sure. I think Jordan Pickford's 100% going to be included in the next international squad. That isn't a question. Michael Keane as well done himself a few favours. Obviously he made a couple of mistakes here and there, but I think overall he played fantastically well, and he showed that he is a really, really good, solid, strong centre-half, and definitely a centre-half that, you know, Everton have relied on a lot this season for me, and I think he's been absolutely fantastic. Natty says, is Big Sam going to Huddersfield? Who knows? Terry says, Gomez had a feisty game. He definitely did. For me, you know, talking about Anthony Taylor and ripping into him, I think we should probably talk about the one decision he maybe got wrong that went in our favour. I think Andre Gomes is probably a little bit lucky to stay on the pitch, and I'm not talking about the pull of the head or whatever you want to call it, the penalty incident. I'm talking about the fact that once he was booked, he went in with another couple of challenges that, you know, other referees had looked at as yellow cards, and I think he lost his head a little bit. I think he lost his head because he was booked for the challenge that wasn't really a booking, and he was booked for, you know, a situation where he just did lose his cool a little bit, and I think he lost his cool because of how poor Taylor was all game, and he just got to that boiling point of frustration. But I think after that he did play on a really, really, really tight you know, line of string, and he was quite lucky to stay on the pitch, if I'm being honest with you. He did have a feisty game, and he showed his emotion, and he showed his passion, and he showed the fact that he wasn't happy with the decisions that the referee was making, and I've got absolutely no problem with that. If a player's unhappy with the referee, he should be in the face saying that, how was that a foul, mate? What are you doing there? What are you know, but you have to understand that though, they have repercussions, and, you know, a lot of referees that turn around and go, you know what, I've had enough of you leave the pitch. So I think Gomez may have been lucky to stay on the pitch yesterday, but, you know, nevertheless, so was Lerma for Bournemouth, so was Dan Gosling, so was half of the Bournemouth squad. Just going to take a drink here, having a little bit of a sore throat like I mentioned. So yeah, he definitely did have a feisty game. Maybe was a little bit lucky to stay on the pitch. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below about that one. Your boy says, I wouldn't bring Lukaku back in because if he can't score with balls from Pogba, he's not going to do much with balls from Gylfi. No offence to him. Exactly, he's not on good form at the minute, and his attitude for me, I just wouldn't bring him in at all. Teddy says, John says, the next internationals break might do Everton a whole off good too. Yeah, I think, you know, we probably need the break, to be honest with you. I don't know whether an international break will do, because most of the lads will go out with their international teams anyway, and they'll be playing football during that break. But I think, you know, it'll be nice for the lads to get a little bit of a break and have a couple of opportunities to just chillax and, you know, have a couple of days off at least. Because we've played a lot of games in the last month. We really have. We've played a lot of fixtures, and it's clearly showing on the fitness levels. But I think hopefully we're back on a decent run now. We got the win yesterday. Hopefully we can go and get the win at Southampton next week, and then we can carry on the form from there. Teddy says, yep, frustration got the better of Gomez, but passion is what we want. 100% I agree with that one. And that guy says, what a scrappy game. Exactly, that's what I wanted to say, just to sort of summarise the game. If you're like, listen, it wasn't perfect, it wasn't amazing, it wasn't beautiful football, it was gritty, it was scrappy, it was hard fought, and it was a win that we needed. I said it in my instant match reaction after the game. We could have gone out there and beat them 5-1, 5-0, a little bit like the Burnley game. And what do you learn from that? You learn that we've destroyed a team that aren't as good as us, but you don't learn much about the character of the players and the character of the football club. Whereas I think in that second half of the game yesterday, we learned an awful lot about the characters of them players. We seen a group of lads go in at half time, sort of at rock bottom, and come out in the second half and go, you know what, we're going to take this game by the scruff of the neck. We're going to take this bull by its horns and we're going to go out there and we're going to win this game. And we did, and we got scrappy. We got in the face of the referee. We got frustrated. And, you know, we fought hard and we dug deep to get that 3 points. And it was a massive, massive win. And it was quite a refreshing performance to see as well. If you watch the game, it was really, really refreshing to see us go out and win in that type of fashion and see us dig deep and get ourselves dirty and get ourselves into situations that you mightn't necessarily want to be in, but come out the other end with the 3 points. And that was what really, really, you know, excited me the most about the result yesterday, because there's going to be a lot of times this season where we have to do that. We have to dig deep and we have to go into the scrappy end and we have to come out the other end with the 3 points. And I think it's absolutely fantastic that we done that yesterday. Like I said, 2 really, really good goals. I suppose we'll talk about the second goal now as well. Obviously, it's getting towards the end of the game. You know, we're thinking just keep the ball, don't concede. Bournemouth had a run of about 3 corners because Anthony Taylor just went, please, please, please score. You know, we went up the other end, Ademola Lookman breaks, and you're thinking, just put it in the corner, lad. Don't do anything stupid. Just put it in the corner and just, you know, see the game out. He doesn't. He waits. He stops. He sees a space in the middle. He goes, I'm going to put it through there to Calvert-Lewin, and Calvert-Lewin finishes wonderfully, and we win the game, and that's it. Game, set, match. That's the end of it. And I think that was absolutely fantastic play by Ademola Lookman and an absolutely wonderful finish by Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well. A lot of people have been critical of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, saying he can't finish this, he can't finish that, you know, he's not good enough. For me, he's not the finished article, don't get me wrong, but I definitely think he can finish a football, and he proved that yesterday. What an absolutely fantastic finish that was. That guy says, what a scrappy game, read that one. Natty says, Gomez just getting adjusted to the level of aggression needed in the Premier League. I 100% agree with that. Natty also says, yes, it was gritty and a bit scrappy, but the goals were beautifully crafted. 100% agree with that one as well. And Terry says, indeed, Gomez could be the mighty next season. Let's get that signature on paper. 100%. As soon as we can get Andre Gomez signed to a permanent deal, the better. And Kurt Zouma as well, while we're talking about that. But yeah, but for me, overall, just before we go, I think a very, very hard-fought win for the Blues. A very gritty game. They had their opportunities. They had the post. We at the bar as well in the first half with a Michael Keane header. But in the end, we dug deep and we had a fantastic second half of football, and we come out the other end with the 3 points, despite the fact that the referee was desperately trying to give Bournemouth something out the game. We come out the other end and we said, you know what, we're going to win this game because we are the better side. And hopefully we can take this momentum into the Southampton game now, get a 3 points at St Mary's on Saturday, and then go to Millwall away from home in the FA Cup and get a victory there as well. That'll set us up nicely, take us into the 5th round of the FA Cup, and obviously we'll have had 6 points from our 2 Premier League games in the meantime as well. But anyway, that is going to do it for me in this live stream. If you have enjoyed, please do leave a like. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. We really appreciate every single subscription that we get. We're nearly on 250 subscribers now, so it'll be absolutely magnificent if you can hit that anytime in the near future. If you're watching this as a video afterwards, please do leave a like on the video. Leave your comments in the comment section. I'll be reading them all night, replying to comments all night. What did you think about the game? What did you think about Ademola Lookman's performance? What did you think about Dominic Calvert-Lewin's goal? And what do you think about referee Anthony Taylor? Dare I say, referee. What do you think about the fella that was wearing a black kit in the centre of the park? Because I'm not going to call him a referee because he didn't referee that game whatsoever. But anyway, all positives. Like I said, a massive 3 points for Marco Silva. Thanks to everyone that would be in the live comments as well. If you're watching this live, please do leave a like on the stream, and thanks everybody for getting involved in the comments section as well. A massive 3 points for Marco Silva, and massive 3 points for the Blues. Hopefully we can take this momentum into Southampton next week. I'll be there at St Mary's. Hopefully I'll have some fan cams out as well just after the game. I'll have my instant match reaction outside of the ground as well. So hopefully another massive 3 points next week. It is massively needed. It's a must-win game again for me. We need to keep this momentum going, and we need to carry on winning games of football, because that is what is most important. But a really, really gritty, hard-fought victory for the Blues. The type that you look at and you go, you know what, it wasn't perfect, but it'll do, and it will definitely give the lads a lot more confidence going into the next couple of weeks, and it will have took them from here in the first half to the first half of the Southampton game. We should be about here confidence-wise, because the win, the 3 points, the way that we done it, and the fact that we done it against, you know, a team that are very, very physical, very, very good, do bring a lot of threat, and a referee that very clearly wasn't on our side, was a fantastic win. So let me know your thoughts, like I said, in the comment section. Thank you all very much for watching. Thanks everybody in the live team. I'll be back on Wednesday for another video. I'm not too sure what the topic is going to be. Yeah, it might be another mighty transfer show. We'll have to see what goes on between now and Wednesday in the transfer market, or I'm sure we'll find a topic to speak about, maybe even the atmosphere at Goodison. That's one thing I can say before I go. I think as bad as Anthony Taylor was yesterday, and as much of an idiot I think he is, one thing that he definitely did yesterday was rile the Goodison crowd up and rile them 11 lads up on the pitch, and I think that was probably the best atmosphere in the second half that we've seen at Goodison for a long, long time, because the referee was frustrating the players, he was frustrating the fans, and we just wanted to get at Bournemouth, get in their faces, and I think we've seen that in the, you know, the atmosphere. I think there was a point where Richarlison chased the ball down, and the whole of Goodison Park stood up and cheered, and we were just absolutely loving it, and I think that's part of the reason why I've lost my voice as well. So if one positive we can take from that idiot Anthony Taylor is the fact that he got us a decent little atmosphere towards the end of the game, and hopefully we can carry that on now in weeks to come, and you know, hopefully we'll carry on the winning streak as well. But anyway, that's going to do it for me. Like I said, I'll be back on Wednesday for another last team. We've then got the full game preview to the Southampton game on Friday, so make sure you are around for that. Wednesday's live team will be again around 6:15, 6:30, so make sure you are live on the channel for that one as well. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching. Please do like the video if you have enjoyed. Thanks to everyone that was in the live chat. Terry says, good job, Cam, later. Thank you very much, Terry. I'll see you later. Again, thanks to everybody else as well. I hope you have enjoyed. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. Like the stream if you enjoyed, and I'll see you on Wednesday for another Everton related video, and hopefully we might have made a couple of signings, but I'm not keeping me fingers crossed. I'm not holding me breath, but you know, if we haven't signed anyone on Wednesday, hopefully, you know, we go out and get a 3 points on Saturday, because it is desperately needed. But anyway, that is going to do it for me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.